My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review for The Leftovers Season 2. And I know people are very passionate about this show. Many people love it, many people call it a masterpiece, many people say it's one of the best shows ever made. And look, I would have loved to join those praises. I would have loved to have my mind blown by it. But I gotta be honest, it's kinda actually really shitty. The first season was underwhelming, but I still got enough out of it. But this second season just took a nosedive in quality for me, and I really hated this season. So let's begin by talking about the cast. And Justin Thoreau is a good actor, but he's just not given the proper material and he can't elevate it. And as a result, his performance feels very one note and very blah. Carrie Coon is also a good actress, but she's just given nothing to do here. Margaret Qualley is a great actress, whether it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or The Substance or Made. Like, she elevates everything she's in, but she's given nothing to do here. Like, it feels like her character is only in this season because she was in the first season. And Dowd does give a good performance, but I really hate the way her character appears. Amy Brenneman is such a terribly written character, but her performance is fine. Christopher Eccleston does a perfectly fine job. Chris Zelka is so bland, like anytime he's not on screen, I forget he even exists. Liv Tyler does a blah job. Kevin Carroll is pretty bland for most of this season, but I thought he did a great job in the final 10 minutes of this season. Regina King does a fine job, and I didn't know Jovan Idupo was in this season. I loved him in Overlord, I loved him in Babylon, but he really doesn't have much to do here. So, the cast has talent, but they're just not given enough to do. The material here really sucks and it does hurt the performances. And the stories to this season just suck. I do not care about anything going on with any character. It's all bland. It's all ineffective, and I was bored for so much of this season. Like, the main focus is on this town called Miracle, and I love the idea of this area where nobody vanished. They just don't really do much with that. Um, and there's this whole system to get in where you have to have a wristband, and there's an episode where Matt loses his wristband, and they don't have any record of him being there, and it just feels poorly planned out. It feels very lazily written. Um, there's also the Murphy family, and I just didn't care for them. They felt very generic. Um, we've got everything with Matt and Mary, and I didn't really care for this at all. There's everything with Lori and Tommy trying to help others, and I really didn't care for this, and I thought Lori was so terribly written. Like, first of all, I don't buy the fact that she would be able to deprogram herself as much as she does here. I just don't buy it. this did not feel like the same character in season 1. And then, keep in mind, she destroyed her family, she divorced her husband, messed up her kid, and joins a cult. She almost gets her daughter killed. And they seem to want us to feel sorry for her? Yeah, absolutely not. No way in hell. And speaking of hell, there's an entire plot with Kevin and he keeps blacking out, and I really do not care for this plot. And he keeps talking to Patty, who isn't really there, and this might be a hot take. I really do not like the directions this story went. There's an episode called International Assassin, and it's incredibly well reviewed. It is the best reviewed episode of this show. I hated it. I thought it was such a piece of shit, and it might be one of the most overrated episodes of television ever. And also, there's one scene where Kevin tells Noah about the fact he's talking to Patty. So he says it like this: I'm seeing somebody. Now, why would you use those words to describe what's going on? Just terribly thought out. Speaking of Noah, she has really nothing to do this season. I keep forgetting there's even a kid here, Lily. And yeah, just none of the story really worked for me, but I'll give the show credit where it's due. I do think the final 10 minutes are actually quite emotional and quite nice. But then we talk about the pacing, and the pacing is abysmal. Like, every scene, every conversation, and every episode goes on for far too long, to the point where you just start to check out. There's not enough substance for the length of this show, and it makes it very boring. Like, the second episode has like a whole 30 minutes dedicated to them looking for a house. Like, do we need 30 minutes for that shit? I don't care. Just give them a house. It doesn't really matter to me. The first episode, when we get introduced to the Murphy family, did we really need to spend that much time on them? Did it really make that much of a difference? Did the third episode focusing on Lori and Tommy really need to be that long? Did the second last episode focused on Meg really need to be that long? The answer is no. Just obviously no. Like, each episode could probably be about 30 minutes and have every bit as much power, if not more. Like, there's even a scene where Noah is asking Erica a bunch of questions, and this scene goes on for what feels like an eternity. And it's just way excessive. Just way. You know, I know people have their issues with Arcane Season 2, and I disagree with everyone, but I'm telling you, the pacing in that show is just so refreshing compared to everything else we get. What else? Like, I kind of like how the first season focused on this dad, and he's going through a divorce, and he's trying to be there for his kid, and he's also trying to run this town, and he's struggling, and that's just completely absent here. There was potential for this season to explore what if people disappeared again, and what does it mean to sacrifice something, and to what extent should we protect a paradise, and how could outsiders affect it? Like, kind of reminds me of the movie The Beach, but there's good ideas present, just none of it feels properly explored. I like the music by Max Rector, and between this and Malignant, I guess shows and movies like to use instrumental versions of Where Is My Mind, but I'm not complaining. So, yes. But I'm gonna go in depth just a little bit for like a minute because there's some things in the final episode that I really hated. So, spoiler warning. But the girls go to the lake right after the barbecue. And then they see Kevin there with the cinder block jumping into the lake. What? Like, Kevin went home, he must have gone to bed, he went to the grandpa's place, and then he jumps into the lake. So how did he get there at the same time? It just doesn't make any sense. And the fact that him jumping into the lake and the girls disappearing aren't connected at all, it just felt really contrived for me. So yeah. Anyways, I really didn't care for anything going on here. Every plot sucks. The character work is lazy. It's one note. It's just lacking in every sense. The performances are fine, but they're not given the proper material to work with. It's terribly paced, just terribly. This is a bland, boring show, and International Assassin is just so overrated. So, I don't give a shit. I guess I'm in the unpopular opinion, but I'm giving The Leftovers Season 2 a 1 out of 10. Okay, 8 episodes left. I can do it. Maybe it gets better. I'm doubtful, but fingers crossed. But Leftovers Season 2, what did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin,